a place you gotta be, where movies, shows, and games light up your fantasy. Slav's behind the mic, he's got a vibe so free. From Star Wars superheroes.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast, where we talk all things pop culture and the like. What's going on, everybody? We got a show today. We got quite a bit to cover. We got the box office breakdown for this past weekend. We got Donald Trump talking about Hollywood tariffs. People freaking out about that. So we're going to break that down a little bit for y'all. We got Microsoft raising prices for the Xbox. Look, I told you guys this was coming. What's it mean? I want to go over Thunderbolts. I did see it. It's going to be spoilerish here, so I want to talk about that. I do have a more in-depth review, more in-depth-ish review coming out probably tomorrow. You'll see. And then Ben Affleck talks Batman very, very briefly. Come on, guys. Batfleck, it's over. And then we also got some Superman discussion, and we'll save that little bit towards the end. So let's get into it, guys. This should be a fun show. Let's see who is all here in the chat. We got Donovan Martin in here. We got Critic Chris, Critic says, saw Thunderbolts opening weekend. It was good. It was a good movie. I'll say that. It was a good movie. Derpy Entertainment says, I was trying to message you to get on, but I was too late for you. Oh, sorry, man. But hi, my glorious king. What's going on? Yes, you will see a poll in the chat, so go for it and vote. We'll talk about the poll towards the end if I remember. I always forget about the polls. About the polls that I put in there. But the poll is, will the Superman trailer release next week, which is May 12th through the 16th? Do you think the Superman trailer will drop next week? So go ahead and put your answer in the poll right now. There are 6 votes. 83% say yes, 17% say no. Hopefully you all had a good week, guys. Yeah, my week wasn't too bad. Trayvon's in here, says, howdy, folks. It's good to be here. How's it going? Make sure you guys follow me on all the social medias, of course. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because we got to build this channel up, guys. Build this channel up. Share this around and all that jazz. If you can't make it to the live show, make sure you follow me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or what have you. That way you can listen to it on your drive to work or drive to school or just sitting at home doing nothing, whatever it is. You can listen to this after the fact on podcast form as well. So make sure you follow me all on those types of things as well. And yeah, I'm thinking about, what I'm thinking about, guys? I was thinking about doing this because there's a couple podcasts I listen to. They're, guys, I say I'd listen to tech podcasts all the time, but a couple of them do this thing where they have like a way that you can call in and like leave a voice message for like questions and stuff. I was thinking about doing something like that. Maybe once a month or every other week, or maybe on the Watchtower, something like that. Having a section where I have callers that can leave messages, and I'll take those. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. If that'd be something you would be interested in doing, kind of leaving a voicemail of questions. That way, I can then answer them. Let me know. Just a thought. All right, guys. Let's get into it. Hope for Life is asking, what did I miss? We just started, my man. We just started. It's okay. All right. Let's get into the first topic. So the first thing I want to talk about, as always, as we started doing a few weeks ago, is the box office breakdown. I love doing this. I love talking about the box office. And this week was an interesting week for sure, because Thunderbolts just came out, which, this fits right in line with a lot of the stuff that we talk about, which is always comic book, pop culture related. Now, we've been talking about Sinners the last couple of weeks because Sinners was this surprise hit. And not only was it a surprise hit, but last week it made some crazy record by only dropping 6% from week 1 to week 2 domestically, which is insane. But here's the crazier part. It only dropped 28% week 2 to week 3, which is another insane. Like that is fantastic. Only 28% for Sinners. So it made $33 million in its second week. I guess it's its second week or third week, whatever it is now, making its grand total worldwide now $236.7 million. Now, it did come in second place domestically this past week, which is okay. It's in second place behind Thunderbolts. We kind of knew Thunderbolts was going to take that first place, but Thunderbolts only made $74 million, just over $74 million. That's not great. It really isn't great. It was a good movie. We're going to talk about the review in a little bit. I really, really liked Thunderbolts. And the fact that it's only at 74 million, look, it's far better than some of the other Marvel movies over the past number of years, but it's still not the best. Like, it's still not hitting that 100 million plus that Marvel movies were making at one time. So sitting there looking at this 74, 75 million, it's kind of like, it should have made more, especially with how good the movie actually is. But that's what happens when the genre itself, and specifically this franchise, this IP, has been struggling the way it has been. So 74, 75-ish million for Thunderbolts. Worldwide gross is at 162 million, which isn't too bad, but we would definitely like to see it make more. I'm kind of hoping, I'm really hoping that it can grow with word of mouth because of how good it is. It's got a great critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, great audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. People are loving it on social media. So I'm hoping that it can build and continue to build. That, as well as Sinners. Look, I think Sinners could hit. I think it could hit $300 million. That's another one that can continue to grow. And was it just a few weeks ago where I had some people in my chat and in my comment section, like, telling me, like, man, 300 million to 400 million, they'd be lucky. They'd be real lucky if they hit that. And I was saying, yeah, I know, I know, but that's the high ball. Like, I think it's positive. And I'm telling you, I think it has a chance to hit 300 million. I think Sinners can hit that number, and that would be great. And then we look at Minecraft, which is at number 3 right now. It dropped 40% this week, but it made another almost $14 million domestically. Worldwide total is now just under 900 million. We're looking at roughly $874 million worldwide. Is it going to hit that Billy? I'm not sure. It should be interesting to see what it does. It's got a few more weeks before Lilo and Stitch comes out, so I think it can make another 30 to 40,000 if it really pushes, but I don't know. Like, in its run fully. Maybe it can make that Billy, maybe, but I'm not sure. But I'm telling you what, this month, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've seen some really, really good numbers coming from these movies. Even The Accountant, too, is doing decently. It's not great. It had a 61% drop, which is pretty typical. Like, you see 60% drops in week 2 for most films. You want to see less than that after, in its second week. 61, though, isn't terrible. That's a pretty typical drop. So again, this box office for the last 4 or 5 weeks has been pretty incredible for all of these really studios, and this is what they want to see. This is exactly what they want to see. I just hope Thunderbolts can kind of grow. The only real threat that's coming out is not even this week. It's not until the 16th, which is Final Destination. And even then, it's not really going to be any kind of, a competition for Thunderbolts or Minecraft. So those two films still have a chance to build a little bit of a nice little cushion with money there. Sinners might be a little bit, that might be where it has its real competition against Final Destination. People may say, yep, Final Destination, no Sinners, and that might be where Sinners kind of starts to lose out a bit. But after that, I think once Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible come out, you're going to see Thunderbolts pretty much just drop off, Sinners drop off, Minecraft drop off pretty heavily there. But let me know your thoughts. What did you see this past weekend? Are you planning on seeing any of these in the upcoming week or two? What did you think? Do you think these numbers are too low? I think Thunderbolts is too low, but again, like I said, that's what you get when the studio and when the IP, the franchise, has struggled the way it has been. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are you guys saying over in the chat? Kavari says it made less than Captain America 4 opening weekend. Yes, Thunderbolts did, and that's unfortunate. It is. It's unfortunate because Thunderbolts is better than Brave New World, 100%. Trevon says, hot take, Lilo and Stitch and Avatar will be the only bona fide hits for Disney this year. I still hate that Disney was allowed to buy Fox. I don't think that they're going to be the only hits for Disney this year. Look out for Fantastic Four. Look, I know that July is jam-packed, but there's nothing that says those three movies can't all be successful. And I really think that Fantastic Four is it's gonna surprise everybody. I do. Kevin says Marvel Studios isn't struggling at all. Deadpool and Wolverine just made $1 billion. Stop with the excuses. Y'all just saying this because Anthony Mackie movie made $414 at the box office. Kevin, look, Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion. You're right. You're not wrong. But you have to go back and take a look at all the movies prior to that. And they just aren't great. They struggled mightily. Not only that, but you take a look at the Disney Plus series and how divisive a lot of them were. Daredevil to the side, because a lot of people really, really love Daredevil. But you take a look at the Disney Plus series, people were not really liking them. You have the She-Hulks, you have Loki was successful. Yeah, I'll give you that. But a lot of the other things, Miss Marvel wasn't very successful. Agatha did okay. Marvel as a whole just isn't very good right now. The perception of Marvel isn't where it was in 2017 and 2018 and 2019. Hell, it's not even where it was in 2021. The perception of Marvel has dropped heavily over the last number of years. And because of that, people aren't rushing to the theater to see anything Marvel related. I look at Thunderbolts very similar to the way Guardians of the Galaxy was back in, 2014 when Guardians came out. You take a look at Guardians of the Galaxy, those were a ragtag team of nobodies that nobody really knew, and that movie was mightily successful. And you take a look at Thunderbolts, all these characters are known. All these characters have shown up in projects before. All these characters have backstory that the audience should have seen or has seen in some capacity in movies or TV shows at this point. Yet it only grossed $74 million at the box office. That is kind of disappointing. So when you sit back and take a look, it's kind of like, okay, there's something wrong there. There's some stigma around the IP that people are not grasping onto right now. And that's okay. That you don't need to get upset. If you're a Marvel fan, I get it. You can be a Marvel fan, but accept the truth that there is this stigma around the brand right now that just people aren't accepting it like they were a number of years ago. And that's fine. They have to do some work to bring people back. And that's what they're doing right now with Fantastic Four, Doomsday, Secret Wars, and hopefully the Mutant Saga whenever they get that started. That's kind of the idea right now. They fumbled. They fumbled the ball for the last number of years. It happens. Studios fumble all the time. Look at Disney with their Lucasfilm with Star Wars. They fumble. It's just how can they recoup and get back in line? Deadpool and Wolverine, that was a step in the right direction. Thunderbolts, step in the right direction. That's great. But they have to keep moving. They have to keep going that direction. And that's all it is. Like, don't get upset whenever people sit there and say, hey, the perception isn't great, because it's true. But that doesn't mean that they can't get back there. And hell, you may have liked a lot of the things, but a lot of other people haven't. And again, that's fine. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, just, it's cool. No big deal. Kavari says, I honestly think Fantastic Four could be effed. No. I mean, I hope not. I want it to be good. I do. Hope for Life. You're talking to Kevin there. Cape Crusader says, Slav, your boy Trump being a bit of a cornball with these tariffs. Because of him, Superman might not enter China. We'll see we'll talk a little bit about these Hollywood tariffs. But the China thing, I'm not concerned about China's box office. when it comes to Superman. That doesn't concern me. I do want to put something out there. There is a storm going on outside right now. If my power happens to go out, I apologize, and I will try to get back on and back to being live as quick as possible. But I do apologize. My power typically doesn't go out, knock on wood, but you never know. These storms have been crazy. It's rained here almost every day for the last, like, I don't know, like week or so, and it's supposed to rain for like another week straight, so it's crazy here. Absolutely nuts. Anyways, keep going. Let's see. Kavari says, the rumor is David Zaslav canceled Sgt Rock because James needs to focus on the Trinity. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it, because Zaslav is not running DC Studios. I mean, yes, he's above James Gunn and Safran answer to Zaslav, but I mean, technically he is allowing them to run the studio, and there's no reason, we haven't seen anything that points to Zaslav's kind of micromanaging them. So I don't know why that there's any thought to that. But I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. There's just no evidence to that. Let's see. What else do we got? Jay Burns says, I'm hoping one day we get to the point where both Marvel and DC start crushing it instead of it flip-flopping between the two. I agree, Jay. I would love to see just both crushing it, because when one's doing well, the other could be doing well and should be doing well. They should be pushing each other to one-up each other, and just we should be getting great content from both, because one just pushes the other. That's what I want to see. That's exactly what I want to see. What else do we got? Hope for Life says, Slav, will you please do a live stream dedicated to horror some point in October? We got a lot of great horror movies coming out, and I'd love to have your buddy on too. Yes, I plan on it. I do want to get something with horror on. I know you're very eager to see some horror content on my channel. I will get some things with horror on here for sure. I will talk to my buddy Colton and see what I can do. I got to just make sure he is up to date with horror. I don't want him to come on here and him have not seen anything for the last 5 years though. So I got to make sure he's up to date with stuff. All right, let's move on to the next topic here, which is the exciting stuff of Donald Trump. So this is interesting, okay, because this came out, says Donald Trump. I saw this morning when I woke up, and this came out last night, but I didn't say it until this morning. Donald Trump posted this, said, the movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated. This is a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process. You got to listen to wording here. Begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. Okay. So I saw this and I immediately was like, whoa, I'm not against this idea. I'm not. There are a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions here. So don't come at me in the chat yet, guys. Calm down. But I am for this. One reason. Well, not one reason, many reasons. But for the last number of years, I'd say probably about 4 or 5 years or so, maybe not that long, the industry, the film industry, has been depleted in America. I don't know exactly what the number is. I was reading an article. Actually, I want to say it was probably about a month or two ago. I was reading an article that the amount of filming that used to take place has dropped significantly. I got to say, it was somewhere in the 40s, I want to say. It was like 40%, 42%, 45%, something like that. It's dropped. That's a big number over the last number of years, over the last like 5 years. It's dropped that much. That's absolutely insane. That's jobs, that's infrastructure. That is things that could bring an economic boost to America. Now, I know this is going to be a little political, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to be too political here, so I'm not going to stay on that too long. But I want you all to understand the idea behind this, because while this does affect movies, and this could affect certain things like, okay, a tariff, like how does that affect a movie? Because it's a service. That's not an object. That's not something that can be tangible. That's not something you hold on to. So what is going to be tariffed when they're filming in Zimbabwe, or they're filming in Africa, or they're filming in Russia, wherever they're filming? Okay, like what is it that's going to be tariffed? Is it going to be like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't understand. These are so many of the questions that need to be answered. But we have to remember that it's not a crazy idea that Donald Trump wants to pull something like Hollywood back into America. Now, Real Anarchy posts, Trump's new 100% tariffs on films produced overseas as a nuclear bomb to Hollywood. Marvel, DC Studios, Warner Brothers, Disney all rely on UK, Canada, Australia for filming. This could wreck budgets, delay films, kill jobs, and shake the entire global film industry. Again, it could, but imagine bringing all of that to America, and all of that, again, all those jobs, all that economic growth, all that boost to Hollywood, to Georgia again, to New York, to other states. Now, again, I know there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of issues. You can't just do it like that in a drop of a hat. But there's definitely some discussion that needs to be had here. And I think there is actors, there's studios who have been talking about this. Specifically, recently, you have people like Mark Wahlberg and Sony Studios who've been pushing to try and even get out of Hollywood, LA, and they were trying to build a Hollywood 2.0 in or around Vegas to get away from certain taxes and stuff like that, simply because they want to stay in America. They want to stay and keep things and producing and shooting and filming in America. But instead of going and doing things like what Warner Brothers did, where they put DC Studios in London. And that is something that some producers, some studios want to do, is they want to stay in America. It's just so damn expensive in Hollywood. Hollywood has become so expensive. California is so damn expensive. That's why a lot of these studios, a lot of these producers, a lot of these people are going overseas, are going to Canada. That's why they're going to Vancouver. That's why they're going to Toronto. That's why they're going to London. That's why they're going to these other places, because it's so damn expensive here in America. So that's some of the things that they need to work out. But then again, what do these tariffs mean? So there's a lot of questions here. Now, Donald Trump did follow it up earlier today, I should say, and say, oh, this is something that's going to be worked out. It's not 100%. We're still working it out. There's still discussions that have to be made, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So this isn't like a 100% happening. But again, you have to understand, this is not something that Trump is trying to destroy Hollywood. It makes sense to bring Hollywood back to America. I believe it makes sense. You see people in Hollywood already, like I said, Mark Wahlberg, Sony Studios, they're already trying to do something similar in another way. They're trying to do that. It's just other studios for a while have been doing it and getting out of America because it's the cheapest, quickest way to do it. And that's all. So you have to kind of like look at everything like in the grand picture of stuff to understand, like, okay, studios are leaving, but why? Because of how expensive it is here. Yet, okay, if Trump can make this happen a certain way, then maybe it would be beneficial to have them come back here. You know, we lost like 40 some percent over the last 5 years, well, that's hurting us with jobs and hurting the economy and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it makes sense then to try and pull them back. Maybe it's not 100% tariff. Maybe it's not that. Maybe we need to get some tax incentives here. So that's the kind of stuff that you need to look at. It's interesting. Like I said, I don't like to talk politics here, but this is an interesting topic to talk about. And I do want to keep an eye on this if it happens to gain any traction as we move forward here. So let me know if you have any questions. I want to know what you guys have to say about this in the comments. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. I've been doing a little bit of research over, since I read this earlier today, just trying to brush up on some things. I follow what goes on in the film industry as best I can, but this kind of stuff, it's different. When you start to mix politics with it, it gets a little crazy for sure. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are you saying over here, guys? Man. Oh boy, you guys got a lot of stuff saying here. I might just skip that. What are you saying, Trayvon? Trayvon says, what's crazy, you go back to the 2010s and there were multiple movies filmed in the U.S., New York, California, Illinois, Georgia, and even my home state, North Carolina, have a lot of movies filmed. It's true. It's true, but you see less and less of it. Like nowadays, you see Toronto used as New York. You see Vancouver used as New York. You see London used as different states. Like it's crazy. You see a lot of Canada used, especially for just more rural parts of America. It's absolutely nuts what they do anymore. It is. What else do we got? Kavari says, blame California for their atrocious high price for shooting movies in the state. That's true. You're not wrong. It is absolutely crazy how much it is to do anything in California. But it's absolutely nuts. Okay. Cape Crusader asked, what do you mean you don't care about China's box office? That could help Superman greatly. China's box office isn't as massive as you think it is. China's box office typically, I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't a big bump, but typically, like when you look at China's box office, you're looking at maybe 20 million, maybe 30 million. Like it could be a nice bump. Sure, it could be 100 million, but I mean, you're not looking at another $500 million. You're not looking at $300 million from China. You're lucky to see, 10%. You're lucky to see 20% come out of China. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, does it matter? Yeah, I want to see Superman get released there. I would like to see them get that money, but that's not overly concerning to me as every other country, as every other place, because China, in the grand scheme of things, is not as massive as everything else together. So it would be helpful, but it's not as massive. Like, let me see if I can real quickly do this here. What was, because it wasn't in, let me see, China's box office for so Man of Steel, for instance, grossed only 25 million at the box office in China, and that's it. Now that was back in 2013, obviously, but that's what I'm talking about. You're only looking at 20 million, 30 million at most, if you're lucky, like $40 million. That's not a crazy amount of money when it comes to China. Could you see 100 million if it's a massive, massive hit? I think that's like Endgame type of money there. I think Endgame, that was even great. Endgame grossed 629 million in China, so that was a ginormous hit in China. But you get my point. I don't think Superman's going to be grossing over $600 million in China. I just don't see it happening. It would be awesome, but I just don't see it happening. Let's see. Anything else? All right, let's move on to the next topic, guys. Where have we got here? No, there we go. All right, Microsoft raising the price of all Xbox Series consoles, Xbox games, and are confirmed to hit $80 by this holiday season. Look, guys, when all this Switch stuff came out, now I know part of it could possibly have to do with tariffs, obviously, inflation, all that crap. But when this Switch stuff came out and they were talking about the price of games going up and everything like that, I knew it was a matter of time until we started seeing the price of current games getting bumped up as well. And it's maddening to me. It's absolutely maddening to me. Because it's going to be just your digital games. It makes no sense why digital games are going to be pushed up. Anyways, this coming from IGN. Microsoft is raising prices on Xbox by a lot. In an announcement, the company said it will be raising prices on Xbox consoles, controllers, headsets, and games. The price hike for consoles and accessories kicks in on May 1st, while game prices will stay the same for now. We should expect to see Xbox charging $79.99 for new first-party games around the holiday season. Absurd. Price increases are taking effect globally, with the exception of the headset prices, which are only going up in the US and Canada. Why that? What? That's not fair. So here are the prices. For the consoles specifically, you have the Xbox Series S, the 512 is going from $300 to $380. The 1 terabyte Series S is going from $350 to $430. The Series X digital only is $450 to $550. The Series X, which is the full thing, from $500 to $600, and the 2 terabyte Galaxy Special Edition from $600 to $730. Controllers, the wireless controllers, are going from $65 to $70. The Special Edition is going to be $80. The limited editions are going to be $90, and the Pro controller, the Elite controllers, are going to now be $150 for the core and $200 for the full set. Look, guys, this is insane. Like, I'm glad I have my Xbox consoles now, because first off, a Series S console, no matter how you spin it, is not worth more than $300. It is not. It's not worth more than $300. Like, that is a terrible price. $380 for a 512 gigabyte Series S? $380? That's absurd. That is absolutely absurd. They're not going to sell any. If anybody buys a Series S console for $380, you need to be smacked, because they are not worth it. They're not worth it. Not now. Not in 2025. In 2020. Sure, I could see that. But I think in 2020, there were $350, if I'm not mistaken. Now, a 1 terabyte, $430, even a 1 terabyte, maybe $350, and that's what they had them at. Maybe. And that's being generous. Maybe. That one should only be $300. And then you're talking about an all-digital Xbox Series X at $550. Like, this is just absurd. I'm sorry. No. It's absurd. And as Donovan Martin says, he says, join the master race. Yes, everybody get a PC. No, I'm sorry. Like, this is a problem. Now, you say join the master race, Donovan, but you need to understand, with the prices here going up on consoles, it's only a matter of time. If it hasn't started to affect the price on the PC market, it's going to affect the PC market very soon if it hasn't already. Components are going to start going up. I mean, do you remember back in like 2020 to 2022, 2023, when it was almost impossible to get a CPU, or not a CPU, a GPU? Like, GPUs were almost impossible to get back then. And when you could get them, you were paying like 4 times the amount of money that it was actually worth. I'm not saying it's going to get that bad, but the pieces for your PC are just going to go up too. This is insane. Like, if you can, I would say go buy a Steam Deck and use your Steam Deck and be happy with it. because that's going to be your best friend for probably the next 3 or 4 years. Don't get an Xbox at this point. Look, I've been an Xbox fanboy for a number of years. This is outrageous prices. These consoles are not worth this price. They're not. They're just not. I cannot fathom paying this much money. $730 for an Xbox Series X that has speckles on it. $730. Oh, but it's got a 2 terabyte hard drive or SSD in it. I don't care. A 2 terabyte hard drive. Who cares about the it's got speckles on it. It's absurd. This is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand, guys. I'm sorry. Let me know your thoughts though in the comments. What you think about this? It's crazy. Maybe a Switch 2 isn't such a bad idea. Maybe a Switch 2 at $450 isn't such a bad idea, but it really is. It is a bad idea. Come on, 10-year-old hardware, 8-year-old gimmick, $450 too. Come on, what are these gaming companies doing right now? What's Sony up to? What are they going to announce soon? I know they're going to announce something dumb, right? They're going to announce something dumb. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What you think about all this? Crazy, I tell you. Soul Survivor Studios says, letting you know I started your stream from the beginning and would like to call in for your show. Always appreciate your pop culture show, Slav. Okay, cool. Yeah, I might do that thing. I'm thinking about it. I'll see. Definitely considering it. Let's see. Donovan says, I got a PS5 and Xbox way before this madness. Yeah, I got an Xbox. I got a Series X and S. I don't have a PS5, but I tell you, it's ridiculous. Trayvon says, I knew Xbox was going to try to exploit the customers after buying up Bethesda and Activision Blizzard. Yeah, maybe that's what they're doing now. What else could it be at this point? I don't know. Trayvon says, you need to be smacked. Just tell me how you really feel, Slav. It's true. Don't buy. Look, do not buy a Series S. It is not worth it in 2025. 5 years ago when it first came out, absolutely. It was a steal. It was almost a steal to buy that next gen in 2020. It was a steal to get that Series S. It was an awesome console, but it is outdated today. It is not worth it today. And none of these consoles on the Xbox side are worth to get it today. There you go. There you have it. Kavari says Sony will be following shortly. Yeah, probably. All right, let's keep moving. Thunderbolts. I'm going to quickly review Thunderbolts. Just quickly, I'm going to have a more in-depth review, whatever, out tomorrow. But I do want to say Thunderbolts, I really enjoyed it. I went and saw it this weekend, and I was excited because when I came out, I should say, I was excited when I came out because it was the first time in a long time that I came out of a Marvel movie where I was kind of like, yeah, yeah, all right. I feel good about this. Now, was it a perfect movie? No. No movie's perfect. We all know that. But let's just kind of highlight, like I said, I don't want to do any spoilers here, so try to not put spoilers. But some of the things I want to highlight, first off, is Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh was fantastic in this movie. I don't know if you guys saw on X or on Twitter, I posted a thing that I honestly think that she has become the better quote-unquote Black Widow than Scarlett Johansson was. Look, this isn't about looks. This isn't about their acting abilities. Both of them are both fantastic actresses. But story-wise, when it comes to their ability to showcase who they are in the Marvel Universe, Yelena has become a better character in so many ways in such a short amount of time that I truly appreciate Florence Pugh and what she's done with the character in the MCU. And she's a character that I just want to constantly see now. I honestly can't wait to see her again in whatever project she's in now because I like her character so much. You also have Bucky, Sebastian Stan playing Bucky. He has become such a magnificent character in this franchise. And when he is on the screen, he brings this presence, like he owns the place. Like it is his franchise now almost. And it's really cool to see because you have all these other characters around there. You got the Wyatt Russells, the David Harbors, and stuff like that, who are great actors in their own right. But Sebastian Stan comes on screen, and it's just the way that he portrays himself, and it's just he takes over the scene, he takes over as the character, and it's just fantastic. And you bring all this together into this movie, and these characters all have great chemistry, including Yelena played by Florence Pugh, and Bob played by Lewis Pullman, who have great chemistry as well. You just pull this all together, and it just worked really, really well on the screen. It had some really cool action sequences, a lot of action actually throughout the movie. This director who did it, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It is Jake Schreier. Jake Schreier, he's a director that isn't really a big director. He did some music videos, a lot of TV shows. He's not a big movie director, nor is he known for action movies. So the fact that he was able to do this film and do it as well as he did was really, really great. And that's not a knock on him. I'm not sitting here saying that's a knock on him. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like you jump into this world, this franchise, and he really showcased like, hey, he's made for this. And I really enjoyed that. I really like that. So bravo to him. And I'd like to see, and hopefully he gets to continue on in this way. But there were some issues. Again, there were some issues. While I do enjoy the action, there were a couple action set pieces that weren't overly great and kind of pulled me out of the moment, which is fine. But there were some moments where I was just like, man, I would have loved for that to been a little bit larger, or to have been done a little bit better. But again, it wasn't like, oh man, this is terrible type of stuff. But there were some things also like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, her character playing Valentina, like she could have been done better. She's such an amazing actress. I mean, I've loved her from Seinfeld to Veep and everything in between, but this just, I don't think is the role for her. So this movie, I really, really enjoyed. I loved a lot, but when I come out of it, like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm like really happy that I watched it, and it makes me excited for what's to come. And that's what I miss about Marvel. I miss coming out of the theater from a Marvel movie saying, all right, what's next? And that's what this did for me. And that's what I'd like to see. So I don't know if you guys saw it. If you did, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If you didn't see it, do you plan on seeing it? I'm really hoping you do, because like I was talking a little bit ago, the box office wasn't too great domestically for the opening weekend. So I'm really hoping it pumps it up, because, hey, maybe they do a sequel to it in some form or fashion. I don't know if they could because of where the story's going, but maybe, like, all these cast of characters together, I think worked really well. I'd like to see where they go. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. Lawrence is in here. Says, what good? What good, man? What good? What do we got here? Critic Chris says, I like Taskmaster's costume from Black Widow more. Same goes for Ghost costume from Ant-Man and the Wasp. I actually like Ghost costume here more, Critic. I did. I get why you may have liked from Ant-Man and the Wasp better, but I like this one better. Dr. Balls. Great name. I'm out of Marvel movies. It's too much work to keep up. You got to watch 30 movies and 10 TV shows. Rebooting is the way, Marvel. Meh. That's actually one of the things I liked about this movie. For instance, U.S. Agent. If there's some people who would say, well, if I didn't watch this show, I wouldn't know who he is. That's not true. They actually do a decent job in kind of giving you a little bit of his backstory in this, so you understand who he is, what he is, and why he is. Same with Ghost. You just get enough of Ghost. Like, she's probably the one that they explain the least of, but you get just enough to understand who she is and why she's there. But really, the focus is mostly on Bob and Yelena in this movie. But the one that probably people are going to be most confused about is why everybody keeps calling Walker, Captain America Light. So they kind of really dive into his backstory a little bit more. But they do well. I think they do well in explaining things in the movie for people who didn't watch the TV shows or watch every movie. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really good. Yeah. The Watcher says, I love Taskmaster's mask. Yeah, it is a cool mask. If only you know. Donovan says, to me, Thunderbolts is Marvel's best since Volume 3. Personal take. I agree. It was really good. It was really good. Honestly, because I have my list here of like my favorite movies in this since Endgame, essentially. Shang-Chi is my number 1 still. Thunderbolts falls number 7 for me. Like, it's really good. But, I got Shang-Chi, I got No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Far From Home, Deadpool and Wolverine, Eternals, and Thunderbolts. So Deadpool and Wolverine's still above it. So, I really like Deadpool and Wolverine. That may change over time. Like, if Deadpool and Wolverine holds up for me, I've watched it a few times. Let's see what happens when I watch Thunderbolts a couple more times. Let's see which one holds up better. It may change, but I would say that's how it would go for me, for sure. Trayvon says, Jeremy Jahns keeps calling Thunderbolts Marvel's Suicide Squad. Didn't feel like that in the movie. Like, I get why people were saying that at first, but once you watch the movie, it's definitely not that. Definitely not. All right. Critter Chris says, worst MCU movie to me was Eternals. That's unfortunate. I really liked it, Eternals. I thought it was a nice swing. It was something different. It was a swing to try something different, and I thought it worked. Just nobody else did, unfortunately. Okay. Moving on. Oh boy. I don't know if you guys know this, but Ben Affleck says, you never know when asked. Anything is possible. He's asked, can we see you back as Batman? And he says, hey, anything is possible. And my goodness, the Snyder Bros got into a hizzy. Oh boy. They got into a hizzy. But I'm here to tell you, all you Snyder Bros, look, I get it. When you hear your favorite actors, when you hear your favorite director, when you hear all these people say, hey, there's a chance. You love to hear it. You love to hear that optimism. You love to hear that there's a chance. You guys are like what is it, Lloyd in Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance. That's what you love to hear. That's what you're like. But there's zero chance, guys. There's no chance. Now, let's be honest here. First off, Ben Affleck is asked a question. Could you be Batman? If he was asked that question in 2018, he would have said absolutely not. Because he didn't want to do it. But then what happened? He showed up in The Flash. He filmed the scene for Aquaman. So when he's asked that question today, instead of saying, no, absolutely not, he's going to say, anything's possible. Okay? That's why he says that. Because back in 2018, or was it 2019, when he was on Jimmy Kimmel, he said, I'm not Batman. I'm no longer Batman. However he said it. He said, I'm not Batman anymore. Like, he was done. That's the difference. That is the reason why it happens like this. But you have people like Lethal Geeks. You have people like This Danger. You have people, all these different people who are going to read more into this than it actually is. He's basically just saying, look, anything can happen. Anything is possible. Because yes, anything is possible. Anything can happen. We've seen anything happen with the Snyder Cut. So anything is possible. I will never count anything out. I will say that there is a 0.00000000001% chance that anything can happen, and I can still say anything is possible because it is still possible. Okay, but like I said, you're Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber when you're saying, so you're saying there's a chance, because in realistic terms there isn't, but sure, anything's possible. Okay, that's what it's coming down to. Now, would I be shocked if 6 months from now it came out that Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman for a crossover event? No, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't, because I'd say, hey, okay, they're leading to a crossover event. It is what it is. DC is known to have crossover events. It is what it is. Would I be shocked if they came out in 2-3 years from now and said, hey, we're bringing Zack Snyder back because he wants to finish this off. We feel we're in a comfortable place with DCU, and now we can bring him back to finish his arc off. No, I wouldn't be surprised, because, hey, if they're in a comfortable place with the DCU, sure, let him do it. But that's what I'm saying is, at this point in time, when somebody like this, an actor is asked the question, whether they're on the red carpet, whether they're walking down the street or something like that, they're asked a question real quickly, and they're just going to say, anything's possible. Because anything is possible. Anything is possible. This isn't a well thought out answer. This isn't a well thought out question. It's him just saying, look, anything is possible. Why? Because it happened before. It happened before he said, I'm not Batman anymore. Then he filmed a movie called The Flash. He filmed then he filmed a scene for Aquaman, which didn't come out. But do you see what I'm saying here? The people that want to sit there and say, you Gunn fans and hit piece writers can shove all those lies, false narratives, and manipulative hit pieces up your ass. Well, first off, hit piece writers, these people that want to sit there and say that there was a hit piece out, what did we talk about a couple weeks ago? When, who was it, Variety, that put out where Ben Affleck was talking about how he didn't like wearing the bat suit? It literally came out of his mouth. That's not a hit piece. When the actor says it, that is not a hit piece. That is the actor saying the thing, and they're reporting on what the actor says. Regardless, there's that. Gunn fans or DC fans who say it's unlikely that Ben Affleck's going to come back, they're saying that because, one, Ben Affleck has basically said that when he said, I don't want to work in the DC with James Gunn, basically. That's what he said. So there you have it. And why would he come back when he's got so much other work going on now? I mean, why would he come back? There's no reason for him to come back. And James Gunn isn't going to bring Zack Snyder back. James Gunn isn't going to bring Ben Affleck back to do something on the side when they need to focus on the DCU. That's kind of the whole idea right now. So people who want to sit there and act like this is a gotcha moment, there's no gotcha moment here. This is just a man who quickly answered a question. Just anything's possible, because, yeah, anything's possible, guys. Anything's possible. You got to think about it logically. Don't think with your dick. Don't think with your heart. Think with your mind. Like that's how you have to live, guys. You know? That's what they tell you as a kid. When you're growing up, when you're a boy, and you start hitting those hormones, when you start looking at girls, you gotta think with your mind, not with your privates. When you start to fall in love, don't think with your heart, think with your mind. Well, in this case, don't think with your heart. And if you're turned on by Ben Affleck for some reason, don't think with your dick about that either. Like, honestly, like, think logically about this. Like, don't think about, like, oh, look, man, gotcha, Gunn fans. I got you. No, you didn't get anything. Like, come on now. Come on. You didn't get anything. There's nothing to get. It's over. Move on. The DCU is here. The DCU is coming. What else do you want? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Batfleck is done, guys. He's done. Maybe he comes back at some point in time. Unlikely. But anything's possible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right, what are you guys saying over here? Donovan says, Snyder Cult be coping. The Watcher. Copium is hell of a drug. Watcher. I heard he will be Captain Atom. Trayvon says, Snyder Bros right now. So you're telling me there's a chance. Exactly. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Trayvon says, don't think with your dick. That's how the no pants stance comes about. Oh, man. Donovan says, the deaf has... Hold on for a sec. Oh, man. Sometimes I got to think before I talk. I don't know why I don't, but yeah, you know. All right. So, some interesting news came up. Got a couple more things to talk about. This came up. The Wrap posted an article today, just a few hours ago, and they were talking yet again to DeLuca and Abdi. And they said that James Gunn really understands the assignment with Superman. All right. So what do they say exactly? Let's take a look. Oh, no. It disappeared. It disappeared. The article is gone. Well, let's reload the article. All right. So, here we go. So, interviewing together on the Smart List podcast with hosts Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes on Monday's episode, the longtime studio exec said that Gunn, previously of Marvel fame with Guardians of the Galaxy, trio of films, really understood the assignment when it came to relaunching a new version of DC and its most iconic character. He says, this is DeLuca, I believe, says, I used to chase James as a producer when he did Slither and started with his low-budget movies. He's really unique, and I think DC is in great hands with the two of them. That's what DeLuca said of Gunn and his studio co-head Peter Safran. We've seen an early cut of Superman, and I don't want to bury the lead. There's a lot of marketing about to roll out ahead of its release, but he really understood the assignment. His heart's in the right place. His aim is true, and we're really excited about their new version of DC, he added. Yeah, James is great, Abdi said. So, this, again, we're seeing more and more from these two specifically that are really talking up James Gunn. And that's great to see, all right? This is really great to see. And hearing words like this, hearing words that he really understood the assignment is very promising. Now, let's not forget that these two did hire James Gunn to write a Superman movie prior to him getting hired as the co-CEO or co-head of DC Studios. Let's not forget that, not CEO, but co-head of DC Studios. Let's not forget that. They also are big fans of his work. So yeah, they're going to be excited and talk highly of him. But it's still exciting to hear that they've seen the movie and they're pumped about what they've seen. But what I'm most excited to hear, is there's a lot of marketing about to roll out ahead of its release. Guys, we haven't seen anything yet, apparently, when it comes to marketing. That's exciting. That's really, really exciting. Because think about it. We got trailers. We got TV spots. I'm sure there's a hell of a lot more merch coming out and so much more. And that's real exciting. Really, really exciting. So when is this trailer coming out? Now, I did have a poll up in there. 38 votes already. Will the Superman trailer release next week, which is the 12th through the 16th? Out of 38 votes, 87% say yes, 13% say no. Well, that's interesting. According to Resident Justice, I don't know if he's in the chat here today, if he's watching, but if he is or isn't, that's all right. On May 4th, he says, Superman trailer dropping the week of May 12th to May 16th, by the way. Later that day, he goes, yeah, I'm now confident in telling you guys that this indeed the time window. You can lock it in. Confirmed as much as I'm going to be able to get it confirmed. It's going down next week. Now, the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about this. I've been saying when I think this trailer is going to drop. I said originally that I thought it was going to be this week. this specific week here of the 12th to the 16th. But last, what was it, Thursday, I kind of swayed from that. I started thinking maybe it's going to be the week of the 20th before Memorial Day weekend. Maybe they will wait, not put it with Final Destination, but wait and put it with Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible. Well, it's sounding more and more like it could be next week. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say I know anything because I don't. I don't know when this trailer is dropping. But I sure as hell hope it comes out next week because that'll be fun. That'll be exciting. Who doesn't want to see another trailer? Who doesn't want to see this trailer drop? Because I know I do. I sure as heck want to see this trailer drop. Now, if it comes out next week, awesome. We will absolutely, whatever day it drops, come here, my channel, that night. We will do some kind of watch breakdown, whatever it is, like we did with the teaser. So don't worry, we'll do something here. But mind you, I could also see them doing something where they kind of slowly roll it out. I could see them maybe next week where it's like a slow roll, where they're, pieces, almost like what they did in December, where they gave us little bits every day. Not every day, but it was like, what was it, like the week before they gave us like images, like a short tease, and then it was like a few days before they gave us something, a few days before something like that. I could also see them doing that next week. So again, I'm not sure. I hope they just drop it next week. But I'm patiently optimistic. Is that right? The right way to say that? I don't know. I just want to see this darn trailer. I do. Now, I've heard some things. I'm sure you've seen it as well about what this trailer could include. It's going to be a story trailer, guys. It's going to be a first. It's going to be an official full-length trailer. We're going to get some story information, most likely what the drive of Lex Luthor is in this movie, the drive of what Superman is, and we're going to get an understanding of what's going to push this movie forward. That's huge. That's important. So we're going to get that. That's exciting. So besides that, like, get ready, guys. We're right around the corner from huge Superman marketing. And that's coming from not just Resident Justice, but Michael DeLuca said it as well. It's right around the corner. We're right on the cusp of it, guys. We're getting it. It's right here. I'm excited. Are you excited? Because I'm excited. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below about all this. I'd love to hear what you have to say. So yeah, let me know. All right, guys. What are you saying over here? Let's start to close up shop here, guys. Get this shop closed up. What are you guys seeing over here? There's an Injustice says, James Gunn, see you next week. Yeah, does that. Let's see what else we got. Trayvon, he remembers that revenge is not an idea we promote on my planet. The Watchers, so get your corkboards out and some string. Donovan says for the teaser we had an entire countdown. That there was a countdown. There was. Trayvon says, but we're not on my planet, are we? The Watcher, we will probably get a trailer 2 in June. Yeah, you're right. We'll probably get a second trailer. If it's not a second trailer, it'll be like an international trailer that they do sometimes. That'll probably be in like the middle of June or something like that. Nico says or asks, are we going to see Jor-El? I don't know. They may save that for the movie. They might save it for the movie. Well, I don't know. Hope for Life says, I hope the trailer doesn't spoil too much of the movie. James Gunn's pretty good at not spoiling too much with his trailers, but he does like to give off some of the emotional beats in it. Like I remember the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. Like there was a lot. It showcased that there was going to be some emotional moments in that movie, but he does it in a sneaky way. So like he kind of misdirects on what the emotion's going to be and why it's going to be there. So Andre Oliveira says, watch Sinners today. Holy it's great. Lucky. AJ 2003 says, hello. Came in towards the end of the show, but hello. Hopefully you can come back on the next show and hang out. Silver Knight says, true Superman fans, they are generally positive-minded people who are friendly. Well, let's talk about Snyder Bros. Trayvon says, BVS. Hopefully. Yeah. Well, guys, this is an excellent show today. I had fun today. Let me know your thoughts on everything that we talked about today. I will be back Thursday at 8:30 p.m. for the Watchtower, which is all DC talk. So we can talk about stuff there. Maybe we'll have even more information about what's going on for a trailer, maybe. Or maybe that'll be our trailer speculation show where we just discuss trailers speculation. Maybe I can have a guest on that day. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, it should be a fun show. Thank you all for stopping on, hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun. The Monday shows, for the time being, will be 8:30 p.m. Eastern, as you can see up at the top. So mark your calendar, 8:30 p.m. Mondays. Slavs Free Talk. So we'll be here. But I can't talk. Wow. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will catch you all hopefully on Thursday for the Watchtower. With all that said, I'll check you all up.